going on, and we are having demonstrations about the China Square. Okay. Before I continue, let's all understand that we have what we call free market. Free market is where you can do business, and you can also be able to control the prices of the market depending on your the capability of your supply. Okay. So the market can be in terms of demand versus supply. So here's the thing. Now we are having people demonstrating in the streets because there is a mall in Thika Road that that was opened by the Chinese. It's called China Square, and this let me call it the retail shop is supplying goods at a cheaper price. And you all know that in the market, anybody who has better prices will always dominate the market depending on the quality of the product. Okay. So now people are demonstrating because the product that the prices are affecting traders, and the people who are demonstrating are not even the consumers. These are the suppliers. These are people who are doing business that they feel China Square is taking the market. Okay, let's now come and understand everything when it comes to consumption, when it comes to production, and when it comes to supply. As a consumer, I will always go for something that favors my pocket. Okay, that's the first thing. Very few people in Kenya will buy depending on their capabilities. Most of us we buy depending on the prices. So if the price of a certain product is higher, then I'm choosing to go for a product that is that has a like I'm choosing to buy from somebody who has better prices than the other person. So first thing, let's evaluate first how this retail shop was opened in Kenya. There's a guy who has done a video explaining the whole process of opening a business in Kenya. He mentioned the branding license, he mentioned the counterfeit license, he mentioned the leasing license, he mentioned the company registration license, he mentioned all the logistics that are required to open a shop in Kenya. And here's the thing. So this guy, the owner of the China Square, I'm pretty sure he went through the whole process before opening the shop. And after doing that, now the shop has been running. So a few research from here and there tells me that in fact the place where this shop was opened, it was a dead mall. Businesses were very low in that area. Now that the guy is there, and the research says that he is making at least 10 million a day, now he is facing another allegation. I've seen an article saying that they have seized around goods worth 50 million that are counterfeit. First, if anything, if products come to Kenya and they are fake, especially when they are imported, then it means somebody somewhere is not doing his job, especially the people who do what we call what do I call it? The people who check products that come in Kenya, KEBS, maybe should I say KEBS, something like that. If those products have been allowed to be here in Kenya and they have passed the clearance port, then how comes they are fake? Did somebody get something? Were they behind the doors? Most probably there's somebody who gained from the products. If we have products worth 50 million that are fake, the person who cleared that lot or that container, how did it come out that the products were fake? Because I'm pretty sure any clearance has to happen. All products. I don't know if they open products for checking and everything or not, but if as long as the product is in Kenya and has been imported, it means it went through a due process of clearing, making sure that the product is good. That's fine. So my question is, why are traders going to demonstrate? As consumers, we are supposed to, like us as the consumers, we are the one who are supposed to go to the streets. So you guys have been selling to us products at a very expensive price. Then we have somebody who is selling the products at a cheaper price. Then you are going to demonstrate on our behalf or for your own benefit. It's us consumers who should be in the streets complaining how expensive those products you're selling to us are. Not you guys going to like demonstrate why we have a better supplier than you guys. You can go and work on your product so that you can also get those products at a better price. It means those products can be gotten at a better price. Okay? So meaning you guys, you are getting the products at a cheaper price, then you are selling to us at an expensive price. Why should you do that? If the market market standard for certain products, let's say it's $2, why are you selling at $4 or $5 to us? Why are you taking the $3 profit margin? If somebody is making $2 as profit and the product costed $1, then that's expensive, man. That's expensive. So this guy has seen an opportunity. He went through the whole diligence of setting up a shop. He got everything right, unless you guys are coming and telling us that everything he did was wrong. And if it was wrong, then the people who allowed that process to happen, they should be going home, because we lack accountability as Kenyans. We just want to have backdoor steps so that we can eat money, so that we can allow corruption. If somebody is saying the guy is selling counterfeit goods, then why are you doing who cleared the goods? Who did that? He went ahead, got a license. He went ahead and got branding license. Why do we say, and I know he pays tax. If he doesn't pay tax, then who is collecting money from him? So, if the allegations were to be there, then I don't think they should be the way this issue has been handled. The issue, the way it has been handled, is not a fair thing to us, because I saw the CS, Trade CS saying, we will allow Chinese to set up manufacturing companies but not do the retail. One question. The top 10 companies in Kenya right now, they're owned by who? Indians. Right now I can say the top 10 companies in Kenya, they're owned by Indians. Those manufacturing companies. Leave alone the service industries, the manufacturing Indians. Name them: MRM, Blue Triangle, not Blue Triangle, sorry, Simba Cement, Menengai, Kabaras, all of them from Indians. We as Kenyans, we stopped doing what? Manufacturing as ourselves. Why? Because when you are into manufacturing, the process is too complex. It's too expensive to set up a manufacturing company in Kenya. Now, let's look at how much a normal Kenyan can have to set up a manufacturing company. Very few can do that. That's why you see somebody can import goods worth 10 million, but he can't set up a factory doing the same process because it's too expensive. Okay, goods worth 10 million. You can say, if you're setting up a company, a manufacturing company in Kenya, we did our logistics and we found out that you are supposed to have almost 300 million to set up a manufacturing company in Kenya. That's too expensive, man. 300 million for a normal Kenyan. Here's the thing. If we want to make change right now, the way things are going, it's not going to be an easy thing. When US increased their taxes, Apple, it's number one company in the world with the best everything, the best profits and everything. When US increased taxes, what did they do? They switched to China for manufacturing. Why? Because manufacturing, China was offering them the best services, cheap labor, cheap production, low tax, so they could produce a lot of products and sell them back to their market. So you maximize on profits with better labor. Here's the thing: what about Apple created employment for the Chinese? It increased their market and everything. Most of the Chinese people were using Apple. Right now, I think they're switching because of issues with US. But if we want to set up manufacturing in Kenya, what's the first thing we should do for us to set up manufacturing companies in Kenya, apart from Indians who have money? You need land. How much does it cost to own a land? Let's say 20 acres. You need license. You need you have to employ people. You have to cater in all licenses that are required for you to set up a manufacturing plant in Kenya. It's too expensive. So, at the moment, you know how much it has been hard for the past 3 years. We have had COVID. A lot of things have been messed up. The economy, world economy has been bad. Inflation rate has been high. You know, if you follow the international news and you find out the inflation rate between top countries, you know, as Kenyans, they don't count us on inflation rate because the impact is so small. But look, internally here, how many companies have been firing people? Many people have gone home. Unemployment rate is very high amongst the young people. So, if China Center has opened opportunities for the young guys like us for employment, or we can go there and get products at a cheaper price so that we can also sell to the people, then where did we get it wrong? Because we have to get a solution to that issue. For now, let's now see the external bodies, the people who are trying to set up production of businesses in Africa. Look, how many, like, you know, we all know Shopify and these South Africa companies. One was it's called Aspire. It's a competitor to Bosch. They closing their shop back to Africa. These are the supermarket, a retail shop that came in Kenya, and they closed and went back to South Africa. So, are we opening doors for people in Africa, in Kenya, to do business, or we're closing them? Because first, the competition for this kind of product is not healthy. It's not. At the moment, we only have opportunities to create jobs for young people like us, because economically, if we don't create jobs for some of us, then people are going to even steal. People are going to do anything to get money. And you know how bad it is right now economically. We don't have opportunities. Companies closing down. Everything is happening. But as a minister for trade, then if you feel like the Chinese people never did the right process to set up the China Square, then you could have called them in your offices and have a discussion. Yeah, you guys, some of you guys own these big positions and you have contacts to these people. Please, before you go ahead and maybe tweet and say everything on Twitter, can you just call some of these people in your offices and have a discussion with them? It's not even necessary for the public to know some of this information to protect businesses. You know, there are businesses that let's say, if we were fighting Safaricom publicly as CS for trade, then Safaricom loses business. Imagine Safaricom closing for 3 days. How much will it affect Kenyan business? Some of these businesses, we need just to call. You just need to, like, it's when I'm employed and I make a mistake, allegedly, not a mistake, then my employer should call me and ask me, hey, come here, let's talk. Let's find out where everything went wrong. It's much easier than making everything look like it's a crime that these guys committed. Now people are demonstrating in the streets, claiming that the Chinese people are doing businesses and they're making us lose businesses. No, you traders should not even complain because you guys make us suffer. You sell expensive things to us. Those things are too expensive. We know the market prices, and the way you guys, even when you go to Alibaba and try and ship products, let me ask, if guys say that it's expensive getting those products to Kenya, how are these guys getting them to Kenya? How? Are they getting them free from their land so that they can sell them here? Even if they are getting them free, now they have to clear import duties. So they have to pay taxes for those products. Now we need to understand if for sure we want to grow this Kenya at this rate, we need to have a good working conditions for external investors or business people. One thing I have always said, if you want to attract people to do businesses with you, you have to create conducive environment for those people. Why? Because those are people who have money. So if you are rough to the people who have money and you're broke, then you're chasing out opportunities. I talked about taxes. We need to know how to regulate taxes for businesses that are coming in Kenya, especially startups. Startups should be the core value or core backbone of the country. If we don't have startups in Kenya, then we're not doing anything. That's why we're importing 99.9% of all the products we have in Kenya. Very few products we have in Kenya are manufactured here. The rest we are importing everything. Because why? We are so harsh to startups. Taxes will kill the country. It's not that we should not pay tax. We should pay tax, but we should find a way of paying tax in a better way. Because I did a research and find out that how many startups are there in a year in US. You find US can do even 3,000 startups in a year. In Kenya, we don't go past 200 startups, even 200 are right now, 2023, up to now, we don't have any new startup in Kenya right now. Why? It's because we don't encourage us young innovators, creative thinkers. We don't. You guys are making us face the environment like we want to create, but when we look at the logistics of creating these businesses, then we fear. We are not going even to make anything because we know the government will come after us. We don't have money, capital. The banks can't give us loans because they know we will not pay. There are a lot of things to consider. But you know, as a government, we need regulations to make sure that as young people or as like external investors, these people have to get better opportunities. I have said, let's go and study what Dubai did, what Qatar did. You know, even if Qatar never made any money from World Cup, but look at the tourism sector, tourism industry, Qatar experience. Many people visited the country, and especially, you know, it was after COVID. So Qatar had the largest visit that time. So as a country, we need to make sure that we have top tier thinkers in those positions we are electing people in. Because if we continue with this kind of thinking, then pretty sure we shall be out of the market. And you know, if you do evaluation of our country right now, business-wise, I don't think we are doing good. Look, they said we are having subsidy fertilizer. Why do you subsidize fertilizer as a government? Agreed. Then you are the one also supplying. Why don't you just create a favorable market conditions for all people to supply fertilizer? The private sector should. Why should a government sell fertilizer at 3,500? Then private sectors are selling the fertilizer at 5,500. And you know, you will realize that the private people are the one who have more fertilizers than the government. So the government is asking people to register so that they can get fertilizer. It's well and good. Will all those people who are registering get fertilizer? Don't think so. Why don't you just allow the market, create market, standard market conditions so that everybody, the government should not do business. It's not your function to do business. It's your function to make sure that we have favorable conditions for business. And employment is majorly provided by the private sector, not the government. The government is never your work as a government is for legislation, making sure that we have favorable conditions, making sure that we maintain law and order so that we don't have people who cause havoc in this country. Not to do business, not to supply fertilizer. Can you just make sure that the conditions for making sure that there is enough fertilizer in the market so that the private sector can supply the fertilizer, or allow the private sector to import fertilizer at a cheaper price so that they can sell to us? Right now, it's almost planting season, and let me tell you, many people won't plant because there will be no seeds, there will be no fertilizer, and it will be expensive even preparing the land. Then you are here crying, closing other business, people are jobless. Now the people who are out of market, the people in that China Square people, is the government going to compensate them? Is the government going to pay their rent? No. Is it? Just because you feel you are doing business, it doesn't mean that you are the only important person in the market. Traders, you are not that important. It's us, the consumers, who can, as much as you provide the product, we can leave the product and you can even go, you will not make profits if the consumers don't buy your product. But the government fighting for things that are not necessary. I don't know why. Sometimes you feel annoyed when you hear such things, but now you can't do anything. So guys, today, let me ask you a question. If we continue like this, how many investors are going to come to Kenya to do business with us? How many do you think will do business in Kenya? Because we are sending a bad image out there already. Okay? Please, this video, if you listen to it, please share and let's see if we can have change in the near future, because as young people, we are getting everything wrong. And the people who are leading us, I'm not sure if they are leading us in the right direction. Unless, there's somebody called Joshua Mapongo. Joshua Mapongo is a Zimbabwean guy. He said, if you want to take lead, if you want to control, if you want to lead, make sure you accumulate money. Then, once you accumulate money, go buy the judiciary. Once you buy the judiciary, then go and be a politician. Then once you become a politician, then change the rules. Maybe that's the game. We should. The top tier thinkers like us, maybe we can do the process, make a lot of money, go change the regulations of the judiciary the way things are changing right now in Kenya. We don't even understand the competence of our judicial system. Then maybe be a politician, then change the rules. This is your boy Alan Obi, the billionaire guys. Please share the video.